Okay guys, the weekend of the 7th of January, we're starting on the S&P 500 and then we're going to have a look at the NASDAQ. Now I'm actually making this video on the Friday because I'm heading up north for the weekend before I get back to work on the Monday. So the first thing to say is I hope you all had a great Christmas and New Year. I hope you all enjoyed some time off, spent some time with the family, ate too much, drank too much. I know I had a great holiday, but I am looking forward to getting back to the charts. I think if you are a trader, we are part of that sad bunch of people who actually enjoy our work. Okay, so the S&P 500, first of all, what can we see? The very strong bullish rally has continued. We are currently sitting at around about 2732. So another very strong movement on this market. Coming into January especially, you do tend to find that if there are going to be large amounts of funds injected into markets over the long term, they do quite often tend to come in January. It's like an allocation of funds at the start of the year. So with this market, key thing is it's in an uptrend. So we don't want to get too bogged down with trying to pick the tops. You tend to find a lot of beginner traders try and pick tops, and it is a recipe for disaster. So what I can see with this market looking at it is these were our two key trend lines that we had on. We actually broke out, we came back down, we retested, which is what we were looking for back at the start of December. That has continued the bullish rally. But what I can see now is it looks like we have created another one. So you can see the test, the test, the test, the test, the test here. We had a false breakdown here before the market pressed up once again. Really for me, this breakdown here was simply as a way to retest structure so the bulls could step in once again. Buyers, they don't really want to buy at the highs. They want to wait for the market to pull back so they can find some value, and then they step in once again. So we have the trend line, we want to have that on our chart. And really, looking at the market, the key thing is we don't, as I've mentioned, we don't really want to try and pick the tops. So we're looking for those key levels of structure down below. For me, we've got one around about 2695, 2696. all the way down toward 2685 right here. Now you can see a very, very flat section of price action here. It's making a nice area of structure. If we see the pullbacks to this level, although we are breaking down below the trend line, I'd still be happy to look for potential bullish continuation, and then I would just keep my eye on the trend line coming back up for potential resistance. Now if we're seeing pullbacks to the trend line, it's also a good area to look for potential continuation. What we might see coming into the start of next week is a little bit of a pullback as people start to take profits, as the main traders get back to work on the Monday, coming into next week. So key level of structure right here. Next level down below. You can already see we've had a test here, 2671 to 2672, down toward, really it's this whole section right here, this whole area down to 2658 right here. If we're pulling back again, it becomes a key level to look for potential bullish bounces and bullish continuation. Now, if we do bounce from here, just want to be a little bit careful coming back up into this strong level of structure here. If we start to find resistance, especially if we're finding resistance at our key level of support and resistance, it is worthwhile looking for that potential weakness, at least profit taking, and potentially stronger bearish movements on the market. Now for me, those are the key areas for next week. It's basically pullbacks into key levels of structure, including the trend line. If we're starting to break down below these levels, if we're breaking back down below here, a little bit more cautious for potential sell positions. But if we do come down and test this level, then start pressing back up once again, I'd be happy to look for weakness if we've seen that. The reason I don't want to look for, or I want to be a little bit more careful if looking for weakness if we start to break down below this level, because we may just be seeing false breaks down before the bulls step back in and ramp this market back up once again. Now we do have further support down below at 2650. Down really to 2643, but for me this starts to become more minor. If we are breaking down below this level here, although we're coming into these trend lines, it's likely that we would then expect a stronger correction, perhaps all the way back down to 2630. Okay guys, that's pretty much everything for the S&P this week. Just a quick recap. Potential support at the trend line if we're breaking down below. Also, I never mentioned this, we could look for potential resistance at this level. for the move back down into this area of structure. This becomes a key level of support. Down below, another key level of support. If we're seeing the bounces back up and seeing weakness, we can look for potential bearish positions. And then if we're starting to break down below here, we do have a more minor support level at 2650 to 2643. But there's the potential here for the medium-term move to then become down toward 2630. Okay guys, so let's load up the NASDAQ and we will do the exact same thing for that market. Okay guys, so now coming into the NASDAQ. So coming into 2018 actually, I'm going to start watching these markets a lot more during the trading day. The NASDAQ especially, I'm going to basically run this alongside the FTSE 100 and use it as one of the markets that I actively trade. Now it doesn't mean that the S&P 500 is a worse market. For me personally, I just prefer the NASDAQ because it is so similar to the FTSE. It means I don't have to sort of think around what it is I'm doing. I can just be looking at both of the same charts and both of the charts and doing exactly the same things in terms of analysis and trade entries. Okay, so for the NASDAQ, once again, nice strong bullish movement on this market. However, there's a couple of other things that we can go over with the NASDAQ. So the first thing is we have been following, just mark this in properly, around about here. A touch, a touch, a touch, and a touch, a trend line on the way up. And then also, if we take from this level right here, up to around about here, what we can see is the market also trending, touching, touching, coming down, testing, and testing. So what we really have is a bit of a channel. Just want to double check this one because we also have the lower band of this one sitting right here. So this, I can't put the rectangle going up at an angle, but basically if we could highlight this as a rectangle, this would almost be like a level of support and resistance, you know, the both bands of the support and resistance. So what I'm looking at is the market is in a very strong upward movement on the NASDAQ. However, we are coming up toward the top of that channel. And this is a potentially good area to look for the bears stepping in once again, potentially all the way back down to the bottom of the channel. Let me just get rid of this arrow. Now we are in an uptrend on this market. Previous levels of structure become good areas to look for potential support and resistance. We have one right here. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Around about 6530 to 6520. And then as we start to come down, we also have a level sitting at 6477 down toward really 6465, 6460. Sorry, I'm so used to doing the FTSE that I am saying 7,000 instead of 6,000. Okay, so further down, we're looking for previous levels of structure once again. For me, so we have structure here, we have structure here. For me, this is when we start getting back into key levels of structure. So very, very strong areas of potential support and resistance. 6425 to 6400. Really, this could actually come down a little bit further towards 6380. This whole section here is a strong area of support. So, looking for potential buy positions. This whole section right here also, especially if we're lining up with the trend line, the lower band of this potential channel. Good to look for the buyers stepping in once again. Now if we start to break down below these levels, pullbacks also makes it good to look for potential resistance and a move down into this area. Now this is, as I've mentioned, a more key level of support for me. So I'm happy to look for buy positions back up toward these levels of support and resistance. Really, there'll be the potential here if we do come down and test to press all the way back up to retest at the lower band of that channel. Up above, key resistance. Now for me, those are the main areas that I am going to be watching coming into next week. It's about the trend channel. Are we going to start to see weakness when we get up in toward these levels? If we are, it's a good area to look for potential sell positions and potentially that move all the way back down. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it means that we have identified something that is or has been happening in the market. So it begins to be an area worthwhile keeping our eye on, looking for potential setups. there's the potential to come all the way back down to retest the lower band of the channel. And then we have support here, support here. If it's starting to line back up with the lower band of the channel, especially, great area to start looking for bullish continuation. If we're breaking back down below these levels, the potential is there for us to be breaking out of the channel, pullbacks to retest as resistance, looking for a stronger movement down toward our key support, makes sense. And then this level for potential buys back up towards the levels of what would then become resistance and the lower band of the channel. Okay guys, so that's everything for this week. As always, I hope that was helpful. I hope you all have a good start to the trading year. I'm James Orr, and thank you.